Menkheper-Ra. Welcome and great peace to Egypt. I am Menkheper-Ra Seneb, the High Priest of Amun, and the Superintendent of the Gold and Silver Treasuries, and Chief of the Overseers of Craftsmen. Once again, I've crossed the time barrier to talk to you today about jewelry making in Egypt. Everyone in our country wears jewelry, from poor peasants to wealthy royals and nobles. For the wealthy, pieces are made from precious metals like gold and silver, semi-precious stones like carnelian, turquoise and lapis lazuli, and glass beads. Instead, the poor use painted clay, stones, shells, animal teeth, and bones. We place great significance on the magical qualities of jewelry to protect us from disease, expel away evil and bring good fortune. According to our tradition, fathers and brothers carry on the same craft. The art is then transmitted traditionally from father to son. The goldsmiths are held in very high esteem, as they provide the temples with figures of the gods and make royal jewels and statuettes. Silver was considered more precious than gold, as it was scarce and imported from other countries. But later, gold came first. Gold is called Nebu. Goldsmiths are known as Nobi. Silver is called Hedge. The mixture of gold and silver is called Wisdom, which means electrum, and its proportion of gold to silver is 2 to 3. According to your standards, our gold products vary from 17 to 22 carats. The great skill of the Egyptian goldsmiths is unparalleled. The fineness of the gold work and the splendid coloring of the enamel are as admirable as the tasteful forms and the certainty of the technique. Gold mines are mainly located in the eastern desert between the Nile River and the Red Sea. Nubia is another rich place of gold mines. The oldest map in the world is that which explains the site of such rich mines and its roots. This map shows the place of the gold mines under the reigns of Seti I and Ramesses II. This site is situated to the east of Coptos. The map represents two valleys running parallel to each other between the mountains. One of these valleys, like many of the larger wadis of the desert, seems to be covered with underwood and blocks of stones. A winding crossway valley unites the two. The pointed mountains contain the mines. These are mentioned to be gold mines. The text reads, "Gold is washed here." These valleys are routes leading to the sea. This is called the Pure Mountain, where great buildings are marked, and a sanctuary for Amun was built. This is the location of the small houses of the gold miners. Finally, the water tank, with the dark cultivated ground surrounding it, represents the well of King Seti I, the same king who directed the great stele, probably in remembrance of the boring of this well. It's written here, "Gold is the body of the gods." God Ra said, "My skin is of pure electrum." Now, I'll explain how gold is mined. The shafts in the mines follow the veins of quartz. For this reason, winding their way deeply into the heart of the mountain. The hard stone is first made brittle by the action of fire, then hoed out with iron picks. The men who do this hard work are accompanied by children, who carry away the bits of stone as they are hewn out. This quartz is then crushed in stone mortars with metal pestles into pieces about the size of lentils. These two workmen are alternately raising and letting fall the pestles into the mortar. This step represents sifting the substance after being pounded. The coarse parts are then returned into the mortar to be again pounded. Women and old men then pound it to dust in mills. This dust is next washed on sloping tables, until the water carries off all the lighter particles of stone. The water is running off into the trough below. Gold is separated from the pounded stone and quartz by frequent washings. The fine sparkling particles of gold are then collected, and together with a certain amount of lead, salt, and other matters kept in closed clay smelting pots for 5 whole days. Liquid gold is then poured into a cast. Even the crucible glows under the immense heat. After smelting the ore, certain workmen will use the blowpipe and the forceps concentrating heat by raising cheeks of metal round 3 sides of the fire in which the crucible is placed. After smelting and casting, gold will be ready to fashion it for ornamental purposes. Actually, various processes are executed in the manufacture of jewelry. These include smelting, molding, soldering, hammering, and beating to produce thin leaflets. Afterwards, the decorative processes will start. These include chasing, engraving, embossing, gilding by pressing, inlaying, the use of granulations or filigree, polishing, and coloring. Sometimes, the gold is not always smelted on the spot, but is brought in bags as gold dust to Egypt. Bags generally containing gold dust are brought from conquered countries, tied up and sealed. For commercial purposes, gold is formed into rings. The master weigher and the scribes weigh them and record the ascertained weight in their books. Various types of gold are distinguished in commerce, for example the mountain gold, the good gold, the gold of twice and the gold of thrice. Adding alloys such as silver or copper will harden the gold. The ductility of gold enables the jewelers, carpenters, and artisans to cover substances of all kinds with thin plates of the metal, giving all the effect of the richness and brilliancy they admired in solid gold ornaments. The gilding of bronze, stone, silver, and wood is speedily adopted. The leaves so used are at first thick. They know then how to reduce their thickness. So other skills are developed such as overlaying with gold leaf, gilding, inlaying, and beating gold. It is unclear for you how we could beat out the gold leaflets. We beat the gold leaf between parchment or some membrane taken from the intestines of animals. The difficulties of mining in the desert include the want of water and the robber nomads. Workers in the mines are principally captives of wars and men condemned to hard labor for crimes or in consequence of offenses against the government. These workers are brought before the scribes to be registered. Watchful and aggressive guards will prevent any escape. Those condemned are bound in fetters and compelled to work. Both men and women use jewelry and trinkets. These jewelry include rings, bracelets, anklets, pectorals, necklaces, collars, head diadems, and earrings. Jewels form an important and precious part of the funerary equipment. Masks and coffins are covered with gold. Hundreds of thousands of beads, which are made of different materials, are parts of the assembled jewelry. The divine statues of the sanctuaries are made of gold and silver. Rituals of worshipping these statues include the using of jewelry. The stores of the royal palaces and temples embrace plenty of these jewels. Amulets made of gold, silver, and precious stones are believed to have magical power that can protect people from evil. The most important precious stones used in making jewelry are carnelian, which represents the fresh blood; turquoise, that resembles the green or flourishing plants, and it is mined from Sinai; and lapis lazuli, which symbolizes the sky color. It is imported from abroad as its mines are located in Afghanistan. The precious stones have protective magical power as well. The Egyptians could manufacture colored materials, which carry the same colors of these precious stones, such as faience and glass. Royal seals are also made of gold and precious stones. There are other kinds of precious stones such as garnet, jasper, green feldspar, Amazon stone, rock crystal, chalcedony, calcite, beryl, obsidian. Prospectors can discover and exploit all mines in the country. God Ta is the patron deity of all artisans. Goddess Hathor is the goddess of joy, music, love, and beauty. She is as well the goddess of the deserts that embrace the mines of precious metals and stones. She protects the miserable miners who worked far away to bring these beautiful materials. Gold is a divine and royal adornment. Hathor is believed to be the incarnation of gold. and gold is the brilliant and incorruptible flesh of the sun god Ra. Jewelers enjoy high prestige contrary to what some poets wrote about them. In their leisure time, they work for their own profit by making jewels for individuals. They mainly work for the royal service and for the temples. Jewelers receive technical training in their art and craft besides the basic teaching required for the scribes. As they work using precious materials, strict supervision and recording are essential. Dwarfs represent an important group among jewelers. As they are easily traceable, they are employed in this craft. There is a skillful technique for making pierced beads and stringing them together to assemble a necklace or a collar. Finally, the senior jeweler is presenting a pectoral to the chief jeweler, who shows off a big belly being a well-fed person. To make a statue of a material like gold, silver, copper, or bronze, a model is made of beeswax. This is covered with clay and left to dry completely. 2 holes are then made at the top and bottom of the clay mold. It is then subjected to heat until the clay mold is hardened and the inner wax melts and escapes from the lower hole completely. The latter is then closed, and the molten gold is poured in the upper hole of the mold. It is left to cool down and the clay is broken to get the gold model, which is exactly the same as the required shape. All these activities in the jewelry making are meticulously supervised. Every step has to be documented by competent scribes for the sake of the king or the temples. So, this was a brief overview of the importance of jewelry in our society for all classes, which would use it for adornment and protection, whether in life or in the afterlife. See you in other episodes.
Make sure to tune into my next videos. If you have any thoughts or questions, add them to your comments. Kindly press the like, share, and subscribe buttons. I'm Farag Sharabasi, and see you in the next episodes. Thank you.